Okay, wanted to talk a little bit about emotions and feeling them and expressing them and all that fun stuff. So I was watching a YouTube video, and it was a roundtable discussion of some popular actors, and they were being asked some questions and talking about just the realities of being actors and being in movies, and what it's like to go through that process of bringing those emotions out. At least that's the part of the conversation that I was just especially into. They're just talking about what it feels like to be there in front of everyone, be on a set or be in the middle of a closed down street with everyone paying attention to you and waiting, knowing that you're going to have to do some big emotional outpouring on camera, and just how crazy that is. And it's funny because while I'm not an actor, I totally related to the process, because it's very similar to what I'm trying to do for myself, just in a personal development kind of way. I'm trying to be able to feel more and share those feelings more. And so I just like how the craft, the vocation of acting is well, it's helping inform me of like a process, because actors have ways of doing what they do. They have ways of teaching acting, and so much of it is about personal truth. Can they perform what they're supposed to perform and say what they're supposed to say with truth and just being genuine with their performance, because that's the whole craft. If it's not genuine, then it comes out, and you see it, and it doesn't land right. And that's something that I want to be, which is more genuine in my expression, more genuine in my presence, more honest with my emotions, and I just have more emotional control. And I don't mean control in the sense of tamping down. I mean being aware and intelligent relative to my emotions, and not suppressing them out of just kind of ignorant fear or something. And it's so cool. So I've tried out some things, some different ways of practicing to feel and express emotions, and to varying degrees of success. So I've kind of played around with dancing as a way of expressing emotion, which is a really cool topic that I want to get into sometime more. Get into it more. I've played around with just like I'll turn on the camera and I'll record something sort of like this, but without the intention of sharing it, and just see like, okay, if this was, a movie scene, could I give it 100%? And not necessarily 100% as my score for how good I was, but more how much did I commit to the process. And that was a really scary thing when I did that. I had a whole session where I recorded like an hour of video, where my goal was to see how far up I could turn the dial on my emotional expression. How much passion could I get in a moment. And I played around with some ways of helping that process out, because if it's just me and I'm not like kind of my normal everyday self, very reserved, and it's not easy for me to feel like I have good emotional access, to like power inside, and so I have to do things to trick myself into getting it. One of them is to say, like, if I'm recording a video, that to tell myself, oh, this is just a test. I can delete it right afterwards. Like, nobody has to know. Just try it out. And another way of helping was I used cannabis. So that's like cheat mode. I mean, that helps so much. It's ridiculous. But I see it as a bit of a crutch. Like, I don't want to have to use it, but I do want to know, what does it feel like if I can remove some of my inhibitions, and it just opens the door more. It lets you get in the room with your own feelings. And then music, absolutely, music is a huge tool for feeling emotion. I mean, no shit, right? But so for that particular session, I had my earbuds in, and I was listening to a song that I knew would elicit an emotional response from me. And so, with a little bit of cannabis and music in my ears, and telling myself it was just a test and I didn't have to use the footage and I had total privacy, then I was able to play around with really seeing if I could access strong emotions in myself and express it on camera. And so then once I'm recording, then I was trying some additional techniques to actually get it out. What are my prompts to move it out of my body? And one of them, I won't describe them all, but one of them was I pretended that I would be watching the footage far off in the future. And so, 20 or 30 or 40 years in the future. And so I was pretending, like, as I'm speaking to the camera, oh, I'm going to be watching this. And I will, in that time, in that future version of me, I will know how all of this life turned out. All of the things that I'm struggling with or aspiring to or worrying about, I'll know. And I'll know also if I had actually tried despite being scared, instead of allowing my fear and cowardice to just be the driver of my life. And so with that kind of dynamic, I was able to speak to myself in the future, like looking at the camera and pretending it's me in the future. I was able to really get a strong emotional response. Like it felt like I was talking to myself. It was for all intents and purposes, on an emotional level, it was real. And that made it so strong. And I was able to have just this powerful, genuine, emotional communication, I guess. It was so cool, and also weird and scary, because it was a huge emotional outpouring. There was a lot of energy, a lot of crying and yelling and just like weirdness. But the point wasn't to make it look normal. The point was to experiment with, hey, what does it look like? What does it feel like when I like open the box a little bit and all of this, stuff comes out, and it's sort of like, oh, let's just see, like, can I open it a little more and see, because I didn't know, and I still don't know. There's so much as far as an exploration of your internal emotional state. And I've had, so long now in my life not allowed that part of me out. And so it's a big black box of just, hey, what am I feeling inside? Like, that's so crazy that I don't really know. And I know some of it, but to go through a process like that of, hey, let's just see what's in there. Let's open up and let's feel some feelings. It's so worth it. It's ridiculous, though. So thinking about it from the perspective of like acting, when I watch people in a movie, when I watch really good actors, what you're looking for is what I was practicing. It's that you're looking for emotion that is right there in your face. Like you want to witness other people feel that emotion. And to see other people feel emotion is really powerful for us as humans. And so you can actually use movies in a way as a guide. Like you can model a little bit of the behavior. Obviously, this is totally dependent on the movie and the person and the scene and the exact moment and all of that. But I think it's one of the reasons why we're so attracted to movie stars is that besides the fact that they're gloriously attractive, seeing the emotions that they get to experience. Like we want to experience those emotions in our life, the good and the bad, and the excitement and the anger and the heartbreak and just everything. And so I love the idea of exploring that and increasing my own emotional experience of life and sharing it through my action, through my expression of those emotions, because I now realize, or I'm starting to realize, how much I appreciate when other people share what they're feeling with me through their expression. And so that's what I'm exploring. That's what I'm playing around with. And I'm going to go to another ecstatic dance tonight. And so I get to play around with that. It's so fun to try and explore that dancing movement as a way of communicating what you're feeling, and just seeing, hey, what does that feel and look like, and what does that do to me? How does that make me feel over the next couple of days? And really cool to explore the relationships between movement and communication, because you can dance or speak and they do similar things to your brain, to your body on the inside, as far as, if you abstain from using words and only communicate with your movement. If you're like, okay, I need to communicate how I feel right now with movement, how do I do that? That is really hard if you're not used to it, because it's sort of like, I don't know, what am I feeling and all that. But B, it's also just, it's powerful and interesting and fun and scary, because you don't know. It's like jumping off a cliff and you don't know how high up it is. Is this interesting? I don't know. Like, it is. I know it's interesting for me, but I don't know who else connects with it. For me, as a man, it's super interesting, because it just in my life experience, in this culture, in this time, our emotional intelligence just isn't the strong suit. Like it's not mine, or at least it's something that I'm working on. And I know that as I get better at just being more aware of my emotions, feeling more confident and free in their expression, all of those things will make every moment better, or worse if it's a negative moment, but I will feel the moments more. And I can even tell right now, like, just because of the shit that I've been doing and paying attention to and working on, I can tell that right now I feel more free in my facial expression. And in this case, I feel good. And so I can feel that coming through in my face. And of course, now I'm self-conscious of my face, and so I'm like shutting it down. But just as I've been recording this video, I've been just a little bit aware of like, the happy feeling in my face is just a little more at ease and more accessible, I guess. That's cool. And there's so much more to explore there emotionally. But I like it, and I'm going to keep going. So, I don't know, chew on it and see how you feel about that. And I've got that video. I've got an hour-long video of me just seeing if I can go bonkers, basically. and I do, and it's crazy and weird and beautiful and all sorts of things. I don't know if or how I would share that. I might just take a few little moments from it, and maybe even without audio, just like, hey, look at the emotional product on my face. And we can, I don't know, chat about it or something. But I would also like to do it again. It could be a recurring thing for me as just a personal practice. Maybe once a month I do it and experiment, tweaking the variables and just seeing what comes out. It's cool though, thinking about acting as almost like a tool for anybody to explore their own emotional access and power and expression. So fun stuff. Okay, I will leave it there, and I'll see you next time, which I don't know when it'll be. Obviously, I'm not doing daily stuff at the moment, but well, who knows? Bye-bye.